Recording in progress. Fantastic. Good evening, everybody. It is 6:09 on Tuesday, November 23rd. I am Tammy Meltzer, Chair of Manhattan Community Board 1. This is our full board meeting. We're joined here by our fantastic elected representatives and our elected officers of the board, as well as board members for our November meeting. We'll kick it off with the public session, and then we will close the public session and have our elected representatives speak. And after the elected representatives, we will do our business session. So with that coming along, let's get our agenda up and posted, as well as the timer, please, from the office team. And then I'd love to hear, we're going to go with Shai Berkowitz, be our first speaker this evening.
Shai here, thank you. Can I begin?
Yes, please. Welcome, Shai. Thank you.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Shai Berkowitz. I'm here on behalf of Josh Caspi with Caspi Development, the applicant of record for the 456 Greenwich Hotel, going up in Tribeca. After a couple months of long cooperation and very thoughtful working groups that was had with the community board's facilitation, we were proud to have come together during our licensing and permits hearing November 10th with an agreement from our understanding with the community board and with the community members in attendance. And what I wanted to make a point of reiterating right now in this next minute was just to, after follow-up discussions that was had with some of the committee officials, I just wanted to reiterate the aspect that the understanding of the resolution that's being presented later this evening for this project and the liquor license application was that the intention is to stick to the agreed terms that were outlined and identified during the course of the committee hearing that was held on November 10th. More specifically, to the point of the roller cover hours of operation that were discussed, the understanding that the roller cover space, which is enclosed by a window type system, would be treated as an open window system, with the roller cover closing the space on weekdays at 8 o'clock, on weekends at 9 o'clock, while the hours of operation would be permitted to continue until 10 o'clock on weekdays and 11 o'clock on weekends. And I just wanted to make sure that that was accounted for and re-picked up in the resolution presented at the end of today's hearing. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shai. Thank you for coming. No problem. And from here, I think I only see elected representatives. And so we'll go with the the reps first, and then we'll have our fantastic assembly members. Okay, Cora, and then Cora, Hannah, and Amy. Before we go there, yeah. Okay, 6:13. Cora, go ahead.
Hi, Tammy. Hi, everyone. Cora here from the council member's office. We filed a request for a bill limiting light pollution because over the past few years, I would say, we've been working with Lucian at CB1 on various kinds of light pollution. We filed a request, and then the central staff at the city council told us that a legislation is already being drafted and is currently on with Council Member Justin Brennan. So our legislative director, Connor, is working with the chief of staff of the council member office, that's Justin Brennan, to see how we can move the bill before the end of the session, or at least support it so it can be enacted in January. Then just last Friday, Councilmember Chin chaired an important oversight hearing on home care workers, including hearing the resolution calling upon the New York State Senate to pass and for the governor to sign a bill. Anyone who's interested, please let me know, write to me, you know where to find me. That will be enacting the Reimagining Long-Term Care Task Force Act. Lastly, as you all know, Councilmember Chin is term limited. Councilmember Chin and the whole team remained in their office until the end of the year. About a month ago, I've already started working with Lucian to just make sure there are lots of ongoing chronic issues that we're working together, and we want to make sure that everything will be transitioned smoothly. And I will continue to do that. And if there are other issues that you would like to close the loop, and there's some issues that may be still pending, so you will be hearing from me to just kind of make sure everything can just have a good turnover transitioning into the new administration. And happy Thanksgiving. I will see you next month at the full board. I am a resident downtown, so you will still see me, and then you will be hearing from me directly as a resident. Thank you, Tammy, and my love to everybody here, all the CD1 full board members. Thank you.
Cora, thank you so much, and thank you for coming to our meetings. It is, you've been very diligent, and we appreciate the hard work that you've exhibited on behalf of our council member. There are many things that we have open, and I'm sure the community would love an opportunity to have them followed up or to follow. Okay, Hannah, and then Amy, and then Assemblyman. We're going to close the public session.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Hannah from Congressman Jerry Nather's office. Pleasure to be with you. Since the Congressman was here last month, the bipartisan infrastructure bill got signed into law, which is really exciting. And this is really like monumental change for communities. Again, I know the Congressman went over some of the points of the bill, but I just wanted to flag a few things. Again, New York will receive $11.6 billion for federal aid highway apportion programs, and $1.9 billion for bridge replacement and repairs, $10.5 billion for the MTA, $3.6 billion to prepare New York infrastructure for impacts of climate change, cyber attacks, and extreme weather events. Importantly, rapid transit and bus lanes are now eligible for capital funding from the federal government. So this will improve the ability for states and localities to apply for funding for pedestrian and bike infrastructure, which I know is really important. And then there's billions more spread out across various programs for transit accessibility for seniors and differently abled people, expansion of broadband, electric vehicle charging, grid reliability. So there's a lot of really great things in the program. So my colleague Robert spoke to at the borough board meeting, but really for communities to start thinking about what ways that this funding could improve upon projects. There's a lot of, state will be, funding through the state, but there's a lot of opportunities to think of some innovative programming here. So I just wanted to flag that and put it on everyone's radar. The second thing is the Build Back Better Act passed the House, which is really exciting, only a few days ago. So Congressman Nather joined some of his colleagues today to encourage the Senate to pass the bill. There's a lot of important things that will really be transformative to families and communities across the nation. It finally kind of unlocks its full potential for New York families, but it also obligates the wealthiest and corporations to pay their fair share. We are investing in people. So this is a really exciting opportunity, and I will keep you posted, hopefully when the Build Back Better Act gets passed, but we'll keep at it. On a local note, I just wanted to flag that a few years ago, I think it was in 2012, as part of the New York NYU rezoning, there was a promise for a local school. And so New York City and the School Construction Authority finally agreed to build what is calling the Bleecker Street School. So I know that this might be an exciting opportunity for families in the area. So I just wanted to flag that as something to put on your radar. I think I'm going to leave it here. If you have any questions, you can feel free to contact me at any time. Have a lovely Thanksgiving. I hope everyone gets the rest and respite that is well owed to everyone. So thank you so much and take care.
Thank you so much, Hannah. We look forward to seeing you in December. And yes, we all hope the bill gets passed. So moving on, Amy Vera.
Doing well. I just want to start off by saying I hope everyone has a great rest of their week and spends it safe and happy and with loved ones, whether it's friends or family. So we had a good past month. As many of you know, Yuleen joined New York City taxicab workers in their 15-day strike to demand action from Mayor de Blasio and City Hall. They won their demands, and Yuleen is incredibly grateful to all those in the community who raised their voices to support the cab drivers. Upcoming is a 5 World Trade Center hearing, and that should be in December, early December. One of the top priorities by residents of the community has been affordable housing. Affordable housing is a dire necessity in Lower Manhattan, which has become one of the highest costs of living and housing prices in the nation. The proposed development at 5 World Trade is an opportunity for permanently and deeply affordable housing. Yuleen remains engaged and committed to this project and will continue to fight for permanent affordable housing at 5 World Trade. Also, in regards to predatory fines and court fees, Yuleen published an op-ed in the Gotham Gazette last month. I'll be including it in the community report that'll be dropping in the chat. She partnered with Senator Julia Salazar to introduce the End Predatory Court Fees Act, which prohibits mandatory minimum fines from penal law and traffic offenses. And that's it. If anyone has any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, have a great rest of your week. Thank you.
Awesome, Amy. Thank you so much. With that, we have everyone who has signed up, I believe, before 6 p.m. Let me refresh my pads. To speak for the public session. And then we will move on to, do we have a quorum? So we can close the public session and do business. That's for, I think, Lucian or Mimi or Colin. See quorum?
I'm seeing 29 sign-ins.
Awesome. Then we're at
So
quorum.
that looks like quorum to me, and I don't think there's any duplicates.
Awesome. So let's, we're going to close the public session with our elected reps and members of the public, and we will start our business session up. We're going to start with our elected representatives. I understand that Senator Kavanaugh was coming, at least that was an hour ago when I spoke with him. So he will go after Assemblymember Glick if he's here. And Assemblymember Glick, you have the floor. Welcome and thank you. Lucian, can you make sure she knows how to unmute?
I'm taking a look here.
He is unmuted.
She doesn't have audio connected. Can you help her with the audio?
Yeah, looks like she's got audio.
Hi.
Oh, she muted herself. Hold on.
I had troubles with the audio myself. I ended up having to disconnect and reconnect. I don't know if it's...
Tammy, it looks like there's a Jonathan Bernstein that also would like to speak for public session. Do we have?
He's signed up after 6 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. So did someone else. So we kind of do before 6, after 6. I would hate to have to go back. Okay.
Deborah, if you're there, can you raise your hand? Just make sure that we got you. Tim, you might have to just have her go a little further down the
Uh-oh.
line of this meeting.
We'll let her go. And I just got a note from Emily saying that Brian can no longer join. He's on a conference call, but Emily would like to report. So we'll go to Emily.
Okay, she's in the attendee section. One moment.
Hey, can you hear me?
We
Great,
can.
thanks.
Okay. Hi, Tammy. Hi, everyone. Good to be here. I have a couple updates from our office, starting with some legislative updates. As you all probably know, the Emergency Rental Assistance Program closed applications last week, which is something our office is very concerned about and not a decision we support. We think the best way for us to basically ascertain the number of people who still need funding and are eligible is to keep those applications open and continue processing them. So we're pushing really hard for the governor to reopen those and also to, obtain more federal funding. And if not, we think the state should look into ways to provide its own funding via the upcoming budget process. Additionally, on November 1st, the senator joined Assemblymember Emily Gallagher to introduce the All Electric Building Act, which would prohibit the issuance of permits for the construction of new gas-powered buildings after 2023. So we're very excited about that. And finally, on the legislative side, on November 30th, the Senate Housing Committee is going to be holding a joint hearing with the Senate Committee on Health to discuss childhood lead poisoning and identify steps that the Senate can take or the state can take to address that problem via legislation. And then on the community side, it's been mentioned before, but we do have our upcoming public forum on 5 World Trade Center that we're co-sponsoring with the community board, as well as our colleagues, Congressman Nadler, Assemblymember New, Manhattan Borough President Brewer, and Councilmember Chin. So definitely encourage everyone to attend that. It's a really great opportunity to be able to share your opinions and also ask the public state agencies questions directly. So we'll be sending more info about that soon. We also know that the public and the community board has been really concerned about the public approvals process for 5 World Trade Center. So our office, along with our colleagues, sent a joint letter to the state agencies, I believe it was last week or 2 weeks ago, requesting clarification on several aspects of the process, including ensuring that they keep the public comment period open until February 15th, which they did agree to, which we're very happy about. Moving on to coastal resiliency, we attended the LMCR open houses last week and very glad to see the attention to community engagement and feedback. And our office looks forward to continue working to help refine and implement those plans. The senator also attended a workshop with the Battery Park City Authority on their resiliency plans that he had a great time at, and it was very informative and also just demonstrated how important it is that we continue to work on these plans to protect Lower Manhattan from the devastating effects of climate change. And finally, on 250 Water Street, the senator joined the rally last Tuesday to advocate for a more transparent and community-centered brownfield cleanup process. And also today, for some of you may know this already, but we received a notice from the Howard Hughes Corporation that they were planning to begin their geotechnical testing this Friday at 250 Water Street, unrelated to the brownfield cleanup process. We got a lot of emails and concerns about that, so we reached out to Howard Hughes directly and strongly urged them to postpone the geotechnical testing, which they did agree to. And I believe they're going to announce this hopefully today or tomorrow, but they will be postponing that, I believe, by about a week to allow the community to review the work plan and hopefully meet before then to discuss how this is going to go forward. But we are staying very engaged in that and are hoping to just ensure that, the process is transparent all around. And that's it. Yeah, if there are any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Okay. I don't see any questions, which is a lovely thing at this point. I'll give an update on 250 Water in my chair report as well. Thank you very much, Emily. Tell Brian thank you for his jumping on the phone real quick, and glad he enjoyed his walkabouts in Lower Manhattan. We hope to continue them even through the winter. Deborah, how are we doing on your audio?
I'm joining on my phone. Can you hear me?
I can, loud and clear. Welcome, Deborah. Thank you so much.
Can you see me?
We can.
Okay.
Look like you're still at the office.
This is why I can't stand WebEx. It does not work with our assembly stuff, but the iPhone manages to come to the rescue. So great to be with you tonight. Obviously, I want to wish everybody a happy and healthy Thanksgiving before I forget to do that. I had a meeting just today with City DOT on working on enhancing my school speed zone cameras, school zone speed cameras, and trying to get our ducks in a row for the new session. For the edification of all the members, it would lift the time bar so we could use those cameras 24/7. 30% of fatalities occur in school zone camera areas, but at times when the cameras are not allowed to operate. So the legislation would remove that restriction on time and day, and it would also jump up recidivist penalties. We're hoping to dramatically eliminate recidivism. By and large, I would say at this point, 52% of folks get a ticket and never have another ticket. So it's successful in that event. And it drops off markedly after 2, but we have a hardcore group of recalcitrant drivers, and we got to do something about them. So we're hoping to work closely with the city and the new city council to get a home rule message early in the session and get this authorized. First of all, the whole program has to be reauthorized before June, but we want to do this expansion as early as possible in the session in order to save lives. So that's a big thing. I was happy to join you, Tammy, at welcoming the new global headquarters local branch to Tribeca for Citibank. And obviously, we have a lot of things changes that the city has been pressing forward that we think are ill-conceived and should not be implemented. Here we are, 7 3/4 into this administration, the most unpopular administration in my memory. So the Soho NoHo neighborhood plan is not a neighborhood plan unless you want to destroy the neighborhood. So we've testified against that. And we took a walk in part of the district with sanitation and health, taking a look at the shacks and the problems that have been generated by open dining. Now, a lot of people like the program. The DOT keeps referring to it as a wildly successful program. And I understand that it's appeal because we've always had sidewalk cafes. But they are done with community review. And the biggest problem that I perceive, aside from, pardon me, the way in which communities and neighborhoods have to live right in a mixed use involvement with people hanging on the street, making noise, the added rats and trash. Aside from that, going forward, our mixed use neighborhoods will not be mixed use. There is no reason why a landlord who could charge for their indoor space that they own and the outdoor space that we own would rent to anything other than a restaurant. So it puts other small businesses at a competitive disadvantage when it comes to finding space and dealing with landlords and usurious rents. So it's a problem, and it's not a city problem. It's not a state problem. But there is you know, the impact is disproportionately felt below 14th Street. We have as many of these dining structures in below 14th Street than they have in all of Queens. And that is an unacceptable, disproportionate burden for the lower Manhattan community. So we will be working with the new council to try to make changes before there is any permanent program. A lot of the folks who troll me on Twitter say, you know, they do this in Paris. Well, Paris has come out with its new rules for next year, and their COVID terraces, as they call them, are going to be sidewalk cafes, maybe expanded into some areas, but they close at 10 o'clock and no permanent structures, no roof, no walls. They could have planters, etc., but it would make a dramatic difference to us if we did not have the structures. And frankly, there's no enforcement. I can't tell you how many times DOT has told me, yes, that place is out of compliance and we've issued a violation. It never gets shortened. The abandoned ones are almost, I think they've removed 12 and they've patted themselves on the back. There are dozens that have been abandoned, and there is no plan to remove them. And for everyone that's done nicely, there are scores that are just plywood shacks. So that is a very, very big and concerning issue. And obviously, we continue to work with many of our colleagues on doing things to eliminate single-use plastic and to try to get the, you know, there's a great organization Beyond Plastics doing a lot of work in the region to raise awareness of other ways of operating, whether it's food storage or whatever. I keep thinking, you know, what did our parents do? And they used, you know, glass jars with covers and wax paper and the like. So we have sometimes going back to what was used in the past is not a bad thing. And of course, we're all thrilled that that we will have an opportunity to discuss with the school construction authority a new school, hopefully one that can be used for kids either with dyslexia or with other learning disabilities. That would be not just neighborhood, but a broad reach so that students from all communities could benefit from a school that is trained in how to deal with those learning disabilities. So that's kind of it. I'm open for questions. We did get, let me just close by saying we did get some bills signed that I'm very happy about. One would require judges in a divorce situation to take into account the best interest of the animal. And for homeowners who have dogs, your homeowner policy cannot discriminate simply on the basis of the breed of the dog. It would have to be declared a dangerous dog under Ag and Markets law in order for them to increase your premium or refuse to cover you. So that's a big deal because there are lots of very friendly, lovely Dobermans, Rottweilers, Pit Bulls, and they deserve to have a home, and that their human companions should not be discriminated against in insurance. So,
Thank you so much. And I do have a couple hands up. So Susan Cole, you're first.
I want to thank you very much for being so fabulous and for talking about the whole open restaurants. And we on the license committee struggle with this all the time. And I don't know where the city people are, but thank you for being so astute about it all.
well, thank you.
I would say here on that. It's a fine line between finding a way to support all businesses versus just one, and having things that could be beneficial. I mean, don't get me started. Public art, bioswales, environmental stuff, more trees, public benches. I don't know. Okay. I'll keep going. Alice, you're next.
I too want to say hip hip hooray to Deborah. Thank you so much. I think your point of raising the extraordinary, absurd comparison to Parisian sidewalks with what we're seeing here in New York should be absolutely spoken up far more. The French would roll over on their sidewalks to see what's going on here with our polycarbonate sheds. And so please keep that point high on your points, and thank you very much for your support on that.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm looking for more hands to the top. By the way, if you're looking for where in the new web thing to figure out where your hand is, if you go under reactions, there is a raise hand and a lower hand. So you can go back there and lower your hand back.
I can't lower my hand.
I think I can lower yours for you.
Thank you very much.
All righty. With that, seeing no other questions, Deborah, thank you so much. Thank you for being a consistent leader. Thank you for showing up both in person and on Zoom. It is remarkable, and we appreciate all of our, if you didn't have a rep here, you showed yourself, and we appreciate that. So thank you.
Thanks very much. And again, everybody have a fabulous Thanksgiving and stay safe.
You too.
You too.
All right.
Thank you.
You too.
With no one else, I say we start the business session early. Love early. Early's great. All right, so we're going to close that down and we're going to continue on with our agenda. Can you pop the agenda up, Lucian or Lucy, whoever's got it? All righty. We start with the adoption of our October 2021 minutes. I'm going to make a motion to accept the minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we'll do this one by affirmation, assuming everyone is an aye. Do I hear any noes? Do I hear any abstentions? Do I hear any recusals? Hearing none, minutes passed. District Manager Lucian Reynolds, take us away.
Thank you, Tammy. Greetings, everyone. So for November, a reminder to all of our members and the public that the December meeting schedule is even crazier than this month's schedule. Please take some time to read ahead on the calendar when we send it out. It is already available on the website, along with the next couple of months on the meetings tab, but I'll post a link in the chat directly to the December calendar once I'm finished. At the most recent Borough Service Cabinet meeting, CB1 was recognized as a hybrid meeting trendsetter with our use of the OWL cameras. All the other boards will be looking to integrate these cameras into their meetings when they choose to go back to in-person. We will look to continue to build upon our experience with these cameras to ensure that the public and remote members get the best experience possible, regardless of where they are. Last week, Lucy and I joined the other Manhattan CB staff to discuss the results of an audit of community board charter required practices that was conducted by the Comptroller's Office. I'm happy to report that CB1 is complying with all the requirements that CBs can be expected to comply with. The one that's impossible is that we set up a cable feed for local television to pick up our broadcasts. It's kind of like a ridiculous, laughable requirement that it's impossible to comply with. However, by having live feeds with our cameras, we can actually create something that's akin to that. So as technology marches on, it's actually helping us achieve things that were previously impossible because of budget, staffing, and tech, and really space limitations. I want to thank Lucy Acevedo for just working so hard to provide all the information to the Comptroller's Office. And even when they were confused about what we were doing, she, anybody who works with Lucy knows that if she wants to fight for something, she's gonna win. So she convinced them that everything we're doing is absolutely in line with the way it should be, and they agreed. And so for that, I just wanted to say tip of the hat to you, Lucy. With that, I'm done with my report. Thank you, Tammy.
Fantastic. Diana, hook me up. You do not mind. And tell me when my slides are up, because I don't.
Do you see it? I have the chairperson's report up.
I do not. Does anybody else?
I can see it.
Yeah.
No, now I do.
I can see it.
Now that makes me really try and figure out how to do that.
Tammy, it's on your first slide now.
Okay, I'll play. Why can't I see?
Tammy, I can give you a link to the slides if you'd like.
Slideshow, yeah, that'd probably be helpful. So I know what I'm doing. All right, let's see. Send me a link so I know where I'm going.
Okay, here it comes.
Thank you. Pretty hilarious. Okay. All righty. At least everybody can see them. That's the most important thing. Okay. So let's go. It's been a busy month. November, as always. We try and take some time we had Election Day off and Veterans Day off and things like that. However, the borough president hosts a business district recovery initiative stakeholder meeting. Business district is as defined by the new congestion pricing rules. And it really is a large scale meeting that the chair and district manager attends that have to do with, we talk a lot about business development, business recovery, crime stats, and issues that affect from north to south. It's rather interesting because if you think that we are the only ones who experience it, you hear it north and south. Whatever we have going on in CB1, it's the same thing through all the community boards going up. And in fact, it's a nice job to have that dialogue and hear it from others as well. Climate Coalition for Lower Manhattan is highly active in the month of November. Alice has been, I think, in every single meeting. If you have any questions about what's going on, you can certainly ask me, but Alice would be our grand expert with Diana on this one, including the walkthrough that's been done with the Battery Park City Authority, the walking all of the sites, including the open houses, which so many of us have attended. If you haven't had a chance, we have the link, we have the audio, and we have the slides to show. Would be great. Deborah mentioned we went to the city ribbon cutting for the new space with Assemblymember Glick. I think you can see us over there on the right with the CEO ribbon cutting. It was pretty funny. And then we did Lucian and I attended the DRI funding announcement that was done for Chinatown funding, which will take care of the area that's right over at the very northeastern tip, adjacent with Community Board 1 with Kenmar Square and over by East Broadway. And I learned that the memorial that's there to the members of our military services who are Chinese American is the only one in the US that honors their service. So that's kind of interesting. And a business improvement district zone there because they've been so incredibly hit. Then we had Flyboy's ribbon cutting at the Battery was on the 14th and designed by Hebrew Brantley. It was really neat. It's a giant statue. If you see the picture, understand that Hebrew Brantley is taller than Mayor de Blasio. So when you're looking at the statue, it gives you an idea of size and scale. When Councilmember Chin and I stood next to it. I think we came up to the statue's knee. All right. Alice did a walkthrough for the ESCR, which was a Project 2 site visit with a lot of the community boards, and we
Where are
built by
you?
design, which was really amazing. 250 Water Street.
Looks like Tammy's lost her
We
feed. So
got-
with that, I motion to,
Oh, she's back.
we lost you, Tammy.
Funny, that's okay. 250 Water Street is something to definitely get me lost on. But we did receive an announcement today that they will not be drilling, they will not be boring, they will not be doing anything during the holiday week and weekend, as they originally posted about 3 hours prior to our meeting. And they will, we look forward to hearing and setting up a meeting Monday or Tuesday to understand exactly what the plan is going forward and the requirement of the included independent community monitor and community board in the discussions. Thank you to those who attended the Borough President's training and who joined me at Borough Board this week. We've had a lot of good things happen. We got our city budget submitted, and yet at the same time, a FOIL request placed a year ago, well, in February, earlier this year, they are now telling us has been pushed back to February of next year on 240 Greenwich. This is completely unacceptable that it would take any city agency a year to fulfill a request for public transparency to a community board. More updates on that as we go along. Next slide. Stuff to take a look out for December, and the LMCR stuff. Are you seeing the pictures from LMCR on this one?
I believe so.
Okay, awesome.
The time, like the Gantt chart.
Yeah.
Yes.
She lost
The
feed
timeline's
again.
actually for open restaurants. So understand that.
Yeah, she still keeps coming and going.
All right.
Tammy, I think
Tammy,
if you
I hear
turn
you.
your video off, we
I
could
think
hear you.
if I keep my video off, it will be better. Am I back? All right. So.
You know,
Back.
Yes.
All right, so we'll just continue on with open restaurants. We are still waiting to hear from DOT on the Brooklyn Bridge banks, but we do have a lot of support from our local officials as well as incoming officials. So that is fantastic news. We look forward to developing conversations and dialogues to see where we can move the needle in 2022 as we push for answers. We are not hearing anything about the BBJ at the moment. That I find more discouraging than encouraging. And I think Alice and I are asking every day about what's going on. Is there a CAC meeting? Have we gotten answers? And basically it's radio silent. And then take a look. We are looking forward to hearing back from the BPCA on their next steps with resiliency and their public design commission submissions and things like that. With that, let's move to my last slide, which is hopefully Happy Thanksgiving. For Thanksgiving, I want to say thank you to every single member of this board. It has been one hell of a year. So thank you all. If I could all have you in my house for a turkey dinner, I would, although I don't know if you'd like my cooking. But please, if you're traveling, be safe, have fun, take care of yourselves, get your booster. Happy Hanukkah, because that starts at the end of Thanksgiving. And happy holidays. I look forward to seeing every single one of you in person when we can and when everybody is safe and comfortable. But until that point, I'm happy to sit outside with some hot cocoa. Just let me know. And with that, I end my chair report. Happy holidays.
Tammy, I have one question. This fanfare over the Citibank lobby. Could I get a little clarity here, or just I guess the public generally? I mean, this is a private lobby space for Citibank.
No.
Yes.
No. Well, kind of yes, kind of no.
Yes. You can't. You can walk in there during the day like you can walk into any bank lobby, I guess. But there's nothing particularly, there's this issuing of some sort of idea that this is somehow a public.
They've opened it up for public space, and they've opened it up that the public can host events there for free. There's a beautiful meeting space. There's couches. You could sit there and work there without a fee. So unlike a regular lobby, they have desks and Wi-Fi. And the day that I was there was somebody sitting there using it as a virtual office. It was really kind of interesting.
Well,
So
it's a little unclear. My understanding was for customers, but whatever. I just was curious. Okay, maybe I have that wrong. Thanks.
I don't think it's 100% just customers, because they also have been hosting kids and stuff on the weekends. And I know for a fact that, little kids playing on the touch screens aren't their ideal. But yeah, it was a cool, neat idea. And we are actually investigating to see if we can host in the small public space that they have, an executive meeting, and use their auditorium for full board, because it's beautiful, it's technologically sound, and we can spread out.
That was promised to us many years ago as part of the POPs programs, just so you know. The lobby wasn't, but that auditorium was, so it's great you're following up on that. Thanks.
And I am very polite about getting there. Absolutely. So by the way, an email came out from the Howard Hughes Corporation after we started the full board meeting tonight that says the new date will be Saturday, December 4th for geotechnical borings at 250 Water Street. So stand by on that. It will be a week from Saturday. Okay. With that, any other questions? Alice, I see you. I see no other questions. I end my chair report and let's move on. Executive Committee. Can you put the reso up and somebody tell me if the reso is up? Does everybody see the resolution for request for modernization of New York State notification requirements?
It's on the screen now.
Perfect. Let's see if there are any hands up. If anybody has any questions on any of this. Not seeing any questions. This is going to be our first roll call for the night.
Call to question.
Second, let's go. Take it away.
All right, people. Amoruso. Blank. Wait.
Blank, yes.
I'm sorry. Hold on. I can't work a computer. Thank you.
Sorry.
Brown Kennedy.
Brown Kennedy, yes.
Thank you. Cameron.
Cameron, yes.
Thank you. Cassell.
Cassell, yes.
Thank you. Colley.
Holly, yes.
Thank you. Chang.
Chang, yes.
Thank you. Oh my. I'm sorry, I really can't use a computer today for some reason. Got it. Chapman.
Chapman, yes.
Thank you. Charkoudian.
Charkoudian, yes.
Thank you. Cole.
Cole, yes.
Thank you. Coleman.
Coleman, yes.
Thank you. Corman.
Corman, yes.
Thank you. Kuchia.
Lucia, yes.
Thank you. Curtis.
Curtis, yes.
Thank you. Ehrman. We'll come back to him. Flores.
Flores, yes.
Thank you. Flynn. Yes. Thank you. Forsberg.
Forsberg, yes. And thank you, Flynn.
Thank you. Franker. Get back to you.
Not in today.
Okay. Friedman.
Yes.
Thank you. Wow.
Froman is next, I think.
Yeah, sorry. Froman?
Froman, yes, thank you.
Thanks. Galloway?
Galloway, yes.
Thank you. Goldstein?
Goldstein, yes.
Thank you. Grant?
Skip.
Get back to Grant. Gupta?
Gupta, yes.
Thank you. James?
James, yes.
Thank you. Joyce? Get back to Joyce. Kay?
Okay, yes.
Thank you. Canal?
Nell, yes.
Thank you. Kettering?
Kettering, yes.
Thank you. Kopel? Or Koppel?
It's Copel, but we got to take a look. He's normally on a dial-in, so let's take a look down there.
Lucy, you know his number. Let me know if you can unmute him.
Maybe just take him at the end.
Sure.
Yeah.
Lemery? Lemery? Lerner? All right. Lewinson? Lynn? Mahoney?
Mahoney, yes.
Thank you. McHugh? Meltzer?
Meltzer votes yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Myhawk? Moore?
Moore, yes.
Thank you. Schneck?
Schneck, yes.
Thank you. Star?
Star, yes.
Thank you. Jimmy Sung?
Jimmy Song, yes.
Thank you. Vera Sung?
Vera, yes.
Thank you. Townley?
Townley, yes.
Thank you. Weinstock? All right. G? She? All right. You?
You was yes.
Thank you. Zelter?
Zelter's yes.
Thank you. And did we ever get a hold of Copel's? All right.
Hey,
Lynn?
maybe,
Yeah.
go back to Lynn. Bernard, I see you unmuting yourself. I just don't hear your vote. Bernard, you may need to just play with your microphone settings, but then you can just let us know.
Hi, you hear me all right?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Lynn?
Yes, I will, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, rock and rolling. Thank you very much. That's quorum, and that's going. Perfect.
Tammy? Tammy, you there?
Okay, I think that works. Colin?
Oh, yes.
Can hear you.
Just want to make a quick motion for limiting of the next issue for discussion for 10 minutes.
I love that because I don't think I'm going to even need it. Thank you.
Oh, you'll see.
Okay, so
I'll keep the time.
there you go. Impacts of local law 114, suggestions for future open restaurant law agency rulemaking. Each committee is working through that, and each committee is going to come up with positive affirmations and rulemaking that they're looking and hoping to have. We have a couple who have not gotten to them yet. So this will be something that we will do a resolution on next month. There is a DOT survey that's out. We will encourage and share that widely. We hope everyone supports it. And keep in mind that we are creating things for what we know we need in Community Board 1 as a mixed use district in with historic neighborhoods and a historic street grid. So there are many, many positive things that we can say and things that we want to see, and that is where the direction should be going. The cat is out of the bag. This isn't, as Deborah said, we're beyond the point of conceptuality here. This is about a reality look at things and about trying to make sure that we have what we need in for Community Board 1. Does anybody have any questions or comments about that? Other than you, Colin. Okay, Colin, you're next.
Oh, no, I didn't. My hand was supposed to be down. I apologize.
Okay.
Guess I was wrong about my motion.
There you go. Which then brings us to length of time for speakers during the business session of the monthly meeting. What Colin did just now is an example of what can and would be recognized and done if, the ideal situation is that you have gone to the committee meeting. If you have a vibrant interest in this, you will have opined at the committee meeting, or at least listen to the recording of the meeting if you couldn't attend it, to know what was hashed and what wasn't, what was discussed and what was not, so that the chair of the committee does not have to review the entire meeting again on a topic for a resolution. There is something in our bylaws that says that we give people 2 minutes each. We have not held tight to that rule. We have been very flexible. The one rule we will hold tight to for full board going forward is everyone gets a chance to speak 1 time. And then you go through the whole list of anybody who wants to speak, and we come back to you for your 2nd time. And just remember, this is not everyone has to agree, and that's fine. No one's here saying we need 100% agreement. We just have to rule on motions and move forward. With that, does anybody have any questions?
I have something. It's Pat. I thought we said the second go round, you can't repeat what you said the first go round.
Well, yes, we did. And I would assume that people would have some common sense on that part. It's not about being argumentative and repeating your argument. You've already said it once. It's if you have something new to add. Correct. Anybody else? Feel free, jump in. Hearing nothing, and silence is beautiful, I end my executive committee report and pass the mic to Darren Charkudian for the Street Fair Task Force. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Earlier this month, we had a meeting with our street fair promoter, Joe Giovanni, and just a couple of highlights here for the year 2021. We have received or are about to receive only $5,000 for our street fairs this year, which is well below normal. And that had to do with the fact that the mid-year start time to get street fairs back cut off some of the ones we had planned in the first half of the year that we would normally have had first half of the year. And then also the number of street vendors was about halved, so that also impacts the amount of money that the board receives. Looking ahead to 2022, we think the activity will raise about half a normal amount of what we got in 2019. So that comes to around $12,500 if from continues on in a recovery fashion here. And Joe also mentioned that he's going to work with the new administration from January onward. We potentially host a holiday party either through or the SAFO. So that is the highlights for the meeting we had with Joe Giovanni. I'm happy to take any questions or comments at this time.
I am looking for hands. Mariama, our treasurer. Go, Mariama.
Just a point of clarification, a holiday party or a holiday fair?
Holiday fair for next year, 2022.
Holiday party is something completely different that we do internal. Okay. Seeing no other questions or comments, Daron, thank you very, very much. I appreciate your work and look forward to returning to our regular street fairs. Let's pass it now to Patrick Cannell for land use zoning and economic development.
Everybody, no land use applications this month. Hooray. So no resolutions. Quick report. Tammy already talked about the open restaurants program and what we would like to see in the future. You know, we focused our discussion a lot on where does the zoning go from here. A lot of thought around enforcement and abandoned structures and what do you do with those. And then thinking a little bit too about, you know, how can we prevent this becoming a landlord cash grab in terms of the permit for the restaurant running with the restaurant as opposed to running with the land. So that was really it. So short and sweet, but I said this to the land use committee at the end of the meeting. It was a huge thank you, but really to the entire board as well. The last 11 plus months for land use applications and zoning has been extremely busy, extremely hard as we come to the end of a mayoral administration and city council. So we had a lot to deal with, and I want to thank everybody for all your hard work on that. That's it. That's all I got. Any questions?
I see none, Patrick.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Awesome. Okay, moving along. Pat Moore, quality of life.
Hey, quality of life. So let's see. We continued our discussion about inclusion and equity. That's, I think every committee's doing that. We're having our discussion in relationship to how we will approach quality of life issues and dealing with the agencies that we deal with. We talked about swapping our meeting date. As you mentioned, Tammy, every committee has talked about the open restaurants issue, and at the executive committee meeting, we couldn't because we hadn't met yet. So what ends up happening, for those who don't know, is that the quality of life committee meeting is generally the third Thursday of the month, and the executive committee meeting is the third Wednesday. So when we get to the executive committee, quality of life has not met yet. So we are asking the committee chairs and co-chairs to think about if we could switch, so committee would happen on the third Thursday and quality of life would happen on the third Wednesday. And we don't need an answer tonight. Just think about it. Tammy, that you have our award on the Thursday morning and that you like to, you know, obviously you want to go prepared by, is that correct? You have board on the third Thursday of the month?
Yes, we do. Yes. But what?
So it might be a problem for you then.
I would, you know, every board meets differently. And a lot of times there are many boards that are not on month to calendar like we are, you know, 1st to 30th. I would be perfectly happy to give it a shot for 6 months because I think what we lose for quality of life is the ability to have your discussion at executive and have everybody sort of aware and on the same page. There are so many things that fall under quality of life that I think it would benefit us to have it before executive. I still can speak the full at the borough board on anything that happened the month prior, which I often do, and then give them a highlight of what is coming through to the full board, which most of the time, most of the chairs will tell me, or the office will tell me. So that's fine. And you can call me Wednesday after if I'm not at your meeting to let me know.
Right.
And that's fine.
All right, so any members of my committee that are here tonight and were not at our meeting last week, give it a thought, see if it's okay. If you have no conflicts and you can switch to the Wednesday instead of the Thursday. If you have a conflict, would you please email Lucian and myself and we will have a discussion. If we don't hear from anyone, then starting in January, we're going to start our meeting, okay? So we'll still meet the third Thursday in December. but in the new year will change. And we are Precinct is willing to come to every other one of our meetings to discuss things that are going on in the community. So it's an opportunity for the public that's on tonight and the rest of you board members. If you don't get a chance to go to the First Precinct's council meeting and you have an issue that you'd like to discuss with the police or that you'd like to hear about or a question you'd like to ask, please come to Quality of Life meeting and Officer Nelson will be there. So we had a couple of questions. He told us all to be on the lookout for and recently in the community, there have been some petty crime with people leaving their pocketbooks or their briefcases next to them when they're sitting in restaurants. And there have been some petty thefts. So be careful to put your bag in front of you, put your briefcase in front of you. We did have an incident in the community with someone at Chambers Street being pushed onto the subway track. He was going to get back to us with that information and what happened. It really fell under the transit police and not the First Precinct, although they are aware of crime that happens in our community. And we asked about any particular situations going on with the homeless in our community, and there wasn't anything that really he needed to report on and let us know about. So again, if you have any issues and you want to have those questions answered, please send an email to Lucian and myself and we'll forward it to Officer Nelson, or please come to either the First Precinct Council meeting or Quality of Life. That's it for us. Everybody have a great Turkey Day.
Thank you very much, Pat.
Did we lose Tammy?
No, I'm here. It's weird without video, I have to say, but I'm working on trying to figure out my bandwidth. All righty. Thank you, Pat, very much. And by the way, for those who did miss the diversity inclusion seminar that was run by the Borough President's Office, we have asked them to do it again. It was amazing. We are going to try and get the slides and handouts to share with the full board on that as well, because it's an important topic that we look and work forward towards. With that, let's bring it to Susan Cole with licensing and permits.
Oh, is all I can say. So we have a few I'd like to take together and a few I'd like to take separately. So the two that I'd like to keep apart would be 77 Warren Street and the Hotel 456 Greenwich. The others and the renewals were all fairly easier than these two. Let's put it that way. So if we can, if you've read them and unless somebody has a comment, I'd like to take everything on the licensing except 77 Warren and 456 Greenwich Street. And I'd like to take a positive vote on that.
Colin, do you understand exactly where we're going?
I got it, thanks.
Okay, so Mimi, because we're going to take it all together, we're going to do an affirmation vote that we've done before. So if you decide that you need to either a no, a recusal, or an abstention on any of the ones that does not including 77 or 456, then you need to call out the name of the particular location and your vote. So are there any no's?
I'm sorry, point of information, not just this area, but the entire everything you have, except for those two.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
This is 200 Church, 293 Church, 33 Vesey, 33 Sea King Ave on Governor's Island, Pearl Street, and Stone Street, and 250 Vesey. Okay. Are there any no's? Are there any abstentions? Hearing none, are there any recusals? Motion passes. Thank you, Susan. 77 Warren and then 456 Greenwich, please.
Well, these two are not necessarily easy, but let's try 77. There was a great deal of community discussion around 77. We have a new a restaurateur who we are not familiar with. There had been many complaints of this building before, and there was some conflicting information. So we proposed hours that I do not believe the new operator is happy with, but we felt we were fine, and we were happy with it, and we agreed that this is what we wanted to do, and it's in front of you. Those are the proposed hours, and they can come back. They can come back after 6 months. If they've been good neighbors and it hasn't been a problem, we will consider it, and we will consider changing the hours. But these are the original hours that we've been working with lately, and we would like to go forward. Jeff, you have a question.
The wrong,
Hold on,
excuse me, Susan, the wrong information is on the screen. It's not Battery
right.
Park City,
Exactly.
77.
That's exactly where I was about to go. Thank you so much.
Me
I'm
too.
about to say, can you put up the rest of
77 Tribeca, yeah.
Okay.
Right. It's
Yeah.
got to
Thank
actually,
you.
more than the title. Can you put up the full reso, please?
Jen, can you do that?
So Susan, my question was just a clarification. The stipulation sheet that the applicant has signed, does that include the hours that you were just referring to as the ones the committee?
Now, Jeff, it's a good question. I have to ask Jen if she'll unmute herself. Did they sign the stipulation sheet, Jen, or not, with our hours?
They're in the process of doing so, but based on what was recently submitted regarding the discrepancies of the community input, and because of the discrepancies of the community input, the new hours that they proposed, we're only abiding by what was agreed upon at the committee meeting. So
that's 77.
If they choose to not sign the stipulations, then we would have to ask them to come back.
Either they will come back. If they decide, Jeff, to go forward to the SLA, we will submit a letter and try to be at the meeting in some capacity to explain our intent. The issue for all of this is we are giving them 6 months to prove themselves, since there had been such difficulty at that site, and this owner has not had a restaurant here or whatever. So that's where we are.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So Gerald, you're next.
Yeah, Susan, just real brief question. I was at that meeting, and if I recall correctly, there was one person from the community who spoke in regards to problems at that particular location. Has anybody followed up to find out if those problems have actually been gone through proper channels and what the problems were? I mean, it's just seems like a lot of onerous to have one community member.
It wasn't just one community member. We had gotten a letter. We had gotten a couple of other complaints about it, Gerald. So that's why we decided it's not so onerous. We have an email that we received, and we had another comment prior to this. Somebody had written me. So that's why we came up with this. We are always stuck once we approve certain things and they are bad, or they're not, I don't want to say bad, but they're non-compliant, and people live around there. There's situations around there. There are a lot of places. So we told them they could come back, and these are the hours that the committee voted on, and I would like to go forward with it.
Yep. Thank you so much, Susan, for clarifying that.
Yeah, the committee, the community was really tempered with this particular location, because the prior owners and the prior establishment was really a nuisance to the community. There was a lot of problems. It was a loud sports bar, and the community had a lot of issues with that. So they
So-
were a little hesitant about giving them free reign away. It's like, okay, let's see what you can do for a period of time, and then we'll move forward. So,
Well, I think that's perfectly acceptable for any new establishment. I do live in that block, and I wasn't aware of
yeah, you
any
know about the
problems.
other one.
But well, I wasn't aware of any problems. But that could have been a little bit before my time as well. So I'm just pleased to hear that we're not just taking it off of one person's
No.
testimony, but there's other people that have
We
written
would
letters. Thank you.
We try not to do that. So could I have a vote on this? Could I call the question and a vote? We
Call the
can't hear
question.
you,
Oh, can
Tammy.
I call the question?
Oh, I second.
Whoa, Collins, we had Collins' hand up. So I was
I
going to say.
didn't see it, Colin. I'm so sorry. Go right
That's
ahead.
right. Just a super fast comment. I am appreciative of what you do, but I'm going to be voting no, and I urge others to vote no because I find this to be just a little overbearing for businesses trying to get a foothold in a community that needs businesses and jobs like no other. That's all. Thanks.
Okay, can we call the question? Thank you, Colin.
Second. So let's roll forward. Mimi, you want to do this one without me? You can do it.
Yeah, totally. All right. So do we have any opposals?
Colin Mahoney opposes.
All right. Any abstentions?
Forsberg opposes.
Okay, so that's another oppose as opposed to an abstention.
Townley abstains.
Jay abstains.
Okay. Any other abstentions?
Corman abstains.
Who?
Corman abstains.
Schneck, Corman.
And
All right,
Coleman
so
abstains too.
And Coleman.
Thank you.
Okay, so Colin, Forsberg, oppose. Abstain is Townley, Kay, Schneck, Corman, and Coleman. Anyone else?
And Zelter abstains.
Schneck abstain? I didn't hear him.
Schneck, is that accurate?
Yes, that's accurate.
All right, thank you.
Abstains.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Chang, Rosa Chang.
Abstains. Any recusals?
Sorry, Megan Brown Kennedy abstains.
Okay.
I hear no refusals.
No recusals. Any more abstentions? All right.
Hearing none, the vote is closed. Can you do me a favor and give me a vote count for where we are?
It looks like we've got. Oh, haven't gotten the 28 in favor on that one. 2 oppose and 6 abstain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 abstain. So that means 26 in favor.
Okay. Thank you so much. That leaves us, Susan.
Thank you,
4:56
everybody.
Greenwich. Take it away.
Before I go into the last one, I would like to say that I have a fabulous committee. They work very hard and they're very thoughtful, and none of this is done arbitrarily and capriciously. And I really want to say publicly, I thank them all. We don't always agree, but we really try to do the best we can. And I'm very grateful to all of them. So that
Susan, it's Mark. I just have a point of information before you start.
Yeah.
The resolution shows a unanimous vote at the committee 9-0. I opposed it, so can that correction be made?
Sure.
So the rest of the board knows it wasn't unanimous.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was on 77, right, Mark?
No, the one we're doing now.
No,
Brennan Street.
456.
Oh, okay. I thought
456.
77 you had voted yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I was, yes.
Okay.
Negative vote for 456.
Yeah. Okay.
Mark, hold on, Susan.
Yeah.
Mark, we don't have you as the first roll call vote. on an audio. So the first vote I have you then is for 77 Warren, which is the last one. And I need an audio vote to be counted for the record because you weren't here.
Okay, affirmative. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so 456 Greenwich is the new hotel that is going up in a very residential area with lots of difficulty. In all fairness, the ownership did make an effort to do outreach. For some, it wasn't good enough, but they have been, and I will say their attorney and their advocate have been very reasonable. I really want to say that. They've tried very hard. We haven't agreed on everything, but we've had many situations that have been much more contentious. So I do want to state that up front. So that notwithstanding, this is a very long resolution, everybody, with a lot of issues and a lot of community input. And the two things that concerned us, and I want you to hear it and read it, and I will take anybody's questions, were the issue of the balconies with the private rooms, and that people can go out and drink till all hours of the night. We really didn't say other than, and Francis will have a comment, but that was a concern. But there were many concerns, and the other big one, besides they have a traffic plan, they're going to have security, and until it all happens, we don't know. The big item is the open courtyard restaurant in the center that fronts all these buildings. And they have stated they're going to have a roll top cover. We have no way of knowing what that roll top cover is going to be like and what is going to happen with it. So we were very restricted, everybody, with the hours. And there seems to have been some confusion around it. We gave hours of weekdays when the cover came up, and Jen will have to correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to look that they would have to close put the covers on at 8 o'clock. It would close at 9 on the says they would close at 10 on the weekends, 9 on the weekdays, sorry, and 10 on the weekends. And they and that's what I believe we voted on, and that's what's in the resolution.
I'm going to ask the office to move the
No, it's not.
Up.
Okay, so what is it? I'm looking. Is it the 10 and 11 in the resolution?
Yeah, it's 10 and 11 in the resolution.
Okay, that's what we voted on. That's fair. I think they may be asking for later, but that's what we voted on. And we told them that we didn't, and this is much later than I would have liked, but that's what we did vote on, in all fairness. And one of the things is that we wanted to give it 6 months so we would have a sense of what went on. And so we would understand, because the committee was very concerned about this, the community, I'm sorry. So that's where we are on this. And if anybody has any questions or comments.
The other whereas right before that, which you mentioned earlier, is our concerns about the proposed number of balconies. We don't know how many balconies it's going to be in the hotel, and the problem with that is that they have private. We're questioning if the patrons would be allowed to drink, to use their rooms as party hubs, and people will be able to, they'll be able to have loud noise and parties till all hours, and they'll be covered by the liquor license. So I am proposing for that particular whereas that in the last sentence we put that the committee strongly does not is not in favor of this option, as it allows patrons to gather in these spaces for however long they may wish, which can add a nuisance to the residents who live in directly adjacent or in front of these balconies. And we don't know how many balconies and the exact situation, but that's a potential bomb.
Thanks, Francis. I have no trouble with that. If we can do, I would put that in. It doesn't restrict them, but it just states what we feel.
Can you hang on? Can you two hang on? I would like Diana, if you can hear me, please advance the slide to the therefore be it resolved. There we go. Okay, great. Thank you.
It's number 10. If you have them numbered, it's number 27.
Francis told me we have like 26 or 46. I don't know. We tried.
No, it's there's 40 altogether. This is number 27.
It go back, go up, go back, Diana.
Go back 15.
So I have my hand up, and I'm going to make a friendly suggestion that everything that you ask the operator for the hours and all of that detail be summarized in the therefore be it resolved as bullet points.
I don't have any trouble with that. And I forgot something, because one of the things in that that we didn't put in and what we forgot, as Jen was writing it and I was reviewing it, they are foregoing any rooftop activity for 6 months, again, till we see how all of this works out.
Sorry, Tammy, point of information, was there a friendly amendment made and accepted? And if so, could someone restate it?
The friendly amendment was made that all the particular details that are significant to the operating hours get put as a summary outline in the therefore be it resolved, because unlike other things where this resolution is so long, I didn't want it to get lost. So summary detailed notes for operating hours.
Yeah, sorry, I got that one. Was there one just before that though?
Yes, it was strongly.
Yes, the one yeah.
Yeah, sorry, could you just restate that again, please?
Do you know which paragraph, which whereas it is? It starts, the committee also raised to the council the proposed balconies. It's that whereas. It's in that paragraph. It's the last sentence.
Or if someone can even just email it to me so I can put it into the minutes, that would be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's Vicki Cameron. I'm sorry, I can't raise my hand. I've looked everywhere.
Do you see where the reactions are? The little sunshiny face, smile with a plus on it.
Yeah.
Plus.
Like, click that.
Click on that, and it'll give you options.
Oh my God.
That's okay, Vicki. I got you. What's up? And you got a hand up. There you go.
Yay! Nice job. Okay, Vicki, you're up next.
Well, I just wanted to say that having worked on these projects, so essentially what happens is that these terraces, rooftops, or center spaces are what we consider non-zoning floor area. And because people insist on having, patrons come in, and because people make noise or inclement weather, that we then do something called rollout covers, and these rollout covers have to be by nature non-permanent. Otherwise, if they're permanent, meaning that if they do mitigate noise or provide heating and cooling, they then become part of zoning floor area. So by the very nature of the covers that are installed, they are not very good acoustics. And I know that it would transmit noise like crazy. So I just wanted to clarify that for us here.
Oh, well, thank you. But we're going to give them a shot, Vicki. We said we
were
going to.
I mean, that was that was the alternative that they proposed, so that they could use the space in the time that they wanted to use the space. The guy was somewhere else in the world.
It's that hotel trickery I'm having done it myself for owners. It's that, you know, if it's a reasonable cover that fulfills these acoustical issues, then it's going to be thick and not removable, which means that it becomes zoning floor area. They're not permitted to have that, so they have light structures. They're essentially only concerned with inclement weather. But I know this from my own experience and on my own jobs, they are not very good in not transmitting noise. And I know that people in the area have complained endlessly, you know, their fears over what this will do to a very quiet neighborhood. So I just wanted to say that this is, the rollout covers are not meant for acoustics.
Well,
Vicky,
I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
We have two more. We have Colin, and then I have a second friendly amendment that I didn't get to. It just got cut off. Okay,
Yeah,
Colin.
Once again, not out of malice and out of love and appreciation for everyone who worked on this resolution, I will be voting no. I urge others to do so as well. I just fear that we get into a habit of telling businesses what they can or can't do in a time where we need to attract more businesses downtown. Thank you very much.
Okay, well then, Colin, you won't be happy with my friendly amendment if it's my turn next.
It is your turn next.
What I couldn't see, and I was trying to scroll through, I apologize, was, you know, like on a cruise ship, there's community public hours that you can't be out on the balconies after, like, you know, drinking out on the balconies, making excessive noise after whatever hour. Do they have any of that written in with their hotel rules?
I don't know.
So I would like to make a
I
friendly amendment that there is a neighborhood community note that people need to not be loud on their balconies after like 11 o'clock at night.
Tammy, this came up. This came up in the meeting. I specifically brought that point up about what are you going to do about the balconies? People can go out there to 4, 6 in the morning. The attorney's response was, "We have no control over that." And I said, "That's exactly the problem." That's actually an exact quote. We have no control over that.
Well, I mean, if there are noise complaints, we can put something in there that, you know, that that's not true. I mean, for God's sakes.
But we should have language in there saying that they should have some control over it.
Or we request it's a residential community. We're requesting that they respect the people that live in the rest.
Correct. I just want to have, I would, if it's acceptable to the chair and co-chair, a friendly amendment that asks the business to keep note of excessive noise on the balconies and take appropriate actions as necessary.
I don't have any trouble, but I'd like to hear Betty and Bernard first, Tammy. Could we do that?
Sure. Betty first, and then Bernard.
I think this is kind of overdo it excessive. You know, I mean, a lot of apartments, they have balcony, and then if people are having parties, so what are you going to do? It's the same thing as a hotel. All you do is that you complain to the police, and they will come and take a resolution there. Usually that's the case.
I wish, Bernard, they would come, and I wish they would, but they don't. That's one of the problems we have suffered in this community.
Well, but in this case, what's the difference between the residential and business? I mean, there are people who buy an apartment there, they can have an apartment, and you have no way of doing that. So you're not going to ask the building manager to say that, you know, you have to kick the whatever. If you buy an apartment, what can they do about it? So what's the difference here?
Well, there are things you can do about it. You have a little less around a hotel, but you know, you have a right.
What I'm saying is that this amendment, yeah, you can say that. I mean, hotel can say that, oh yeah, you shouldn't buy it at the law, but I mean, these are not enforceable. I'm just saying that,
a good hotel operator will go to the residence room. I come from a long list of hospitality, and a good hotel operator does understand guests who cause problems end up on a list that they are not welcome back.
Well, that's my point, though. Usually, if you complain, and then usually hotel will just will take care of that.
Well, we're asking.
I'm just saying they put it. They can put in something like that. Well, it depends on whether this one. Well, I'm saying that the language, yes, it's part of. You can say that, but hotel, we are not going to be able to ask hotel to enforce it. Because the hotel, they are not law enforcement official, right? So they can At
Yes.
best, they can kick the people out. That's it.
We're not asking them to enforce it. We're just asking them to respect the neighborhood. That's all.
I think that the real issue is that hotels have rules and regulations. And they, when you look on the back of the door, there are all kinds of things you can and can't do. And a good hotel, as Tammy says, and I have come from a family of in the hospitality business, they know how to run their places. And when they have trouble, they figure it out. So we're not making a demand that you must do this. We're asking that you please consider this. That's what we're asking. We're not doing any more than that. Betty, you have a point?
Yes, actually, I wanted to support some of the things that have been said by others. Given that this past weekend, I had a neighbor that had a loud party until 2 a.m. Given that I have another neighbor who has a private balcony space, well, outdoor space that abuts my living room window and gives parties on holidays and other times. The reality is it does come off as very punitive against hotels, when in fact, within our residential areas, we do it all the time.
Yeah, that's my point. Yeah.
And so it really is up to the management and how they handle it. So I agree with Tammy's comment about putting something in about it'd be nice to have a policy or a statement from the management company at the hotel.
Right. That's it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all we're gonna. I think.
I
Betty,
have two
thank
other.
you so much.
Thank you. Is that it, Betty? I think that's a good point. Thank you. I appreciate it. Mariama and then Mark. And then I'd like to have the question called.
Yeah, I'm supporting putting the comment in. And I think there's a difference. I think there's a distinction between apartments with balconies and hotels with balconies and rooftop exposed that are surrounded by residences. Not many families are going to have a party on a daily basis, but a hotel has a capacity to do just that, when they're full of guests. Each guest can have one. So I think it is a big difference. And that we do need to have to figure out how to live together harmoniously, residences and businesses. And so the business is going to have to make some concessions because we always do. The residences always make concessions to allow for what the businesses are trying to do. So I think there has to be balance and fairness.
So I want to go back before I call on Mark. I want to go back and tell everybody that we are voting, so we understand about the cafe closing, that the cover goes on, but it closes at 10 p.m. on weekdays and it closes at 11 p.m. on weekends. I want you all to see that. They don't like it. The community may not like it. It is whatever the compromise that the committee came up with. But I want you to all, in full disclosure, understand what we are voting on. Mark, you want to say something? Betty,
Wait. I just want to just expound on that point, because what they asked for was 12 a.m. during the weekdays and 2 a.m. on the weekends. That's what they asked for.
Thank you, Francis. Thank you. So we've given them, and the community wanted earlier hours. So this was our compromise. We worked very hard on this one, guys. Mark, please.
Yep. So basically, what Mariam has said is one of the things I was going to bring up. There's a huge distinction between having a different proprietor on a balcony every night, quote unquote proprietor, having their own party, whatever they're doing, as opposed to a resident who has to live with their neighbors and could be a little bit accountable. It's apples and oranges. As far as the enforcement, try and call the police for noise complaint. Good luck with that, because nothing will happen. And thirdly, and probably most importantly, you got to remember this section of North Tribeca. It is one of the most quietest neighborhoods that we have around here, and this is going to fundamentally change the entire character of a neighborhood where people have lived for decades and decades, and these are the new people on the block, and they're the ones that should accommodate the character that exists, not transform it. And that's why I'm totally opposed to what they're doing there. And it scares me that the answer that we got from their attorney about the balconies when I asked how are you going to control the noise on the balconies, and he said we don't have control over that.
That's not
and
true.
and yeah, that's going to only be one problem with this place. So I can in good conscience vote for this and contribute to the degradation of a beautiful, quaint neighborhood.
Okay.
All right.
Now, I want you all to remember
Hold on,
something.
Susan.
What?
Susan,
Yeah.
with that, I need to make an announcement because we have 3 board members who were not on oral voting before. So I need to make sure that they orally vote. If we want to do it by roll call, I don't care. But if not, they have to unmute themselves anyway and make sure that they vote orally because they missed the first roll call. So it's Megan McHugh, Joel Capel. We know Mark is here. He voted orally before. And Trisha Joyce.
Okay. I don't.
Bruce Airman.
I don't think
And
we.
Bruce Airman, so that's 4.
Okay. I don't think we need to take a roll call. I want to thank everybody. I thought your comment was a good one, Betty. And I would like somebody to call the question and second it. And I would like to vote on this, please.
Call the question.
I call the question.
Second.
Okay, great.
Mimi, take it away. Remember, those people who have not voted orally through roll call when the meeting started need to announce their name and vote.
Can we see, excuse me, can we see the actual, what we're voting on? The
amendment you
It's
are
like, right, it's the whole thing.
It's like,
items.
it's
right.
Tammy,
Pages, the
this
one
may
that's
be easier as a roll call vote.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing.
All right, let's do a roll call vote. Fine.
And Gerald, you need to take a look at the links that were sent out prior to what is up on the screen right now is also there. Okay, where you see it slowly scrolling. Okay. Mimi, I'm your roll call. I apologize, but you're on.
Okay, roll call. Anne
Thank you.
Maruso?
No.
No, you're against this?
Yes, that's what he said.
Opposed.
Okay, got it. Blank?
I'm going with the committee, so that would be a yes.
Thank you.
All right. And Brown Kennedy?
Abstain.
Cameron?
Yes. Cameron, yes.
Thank you. Cassell?
Abstain.
Colley? Chang?
Abstain.
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
Abstains.
Chang abstains. Chapman?
Chapman, yes.
Chapman, yes. Charkoudian?
Charkoudian, yes.
Charkoudian, yes. Cole?
Yes.
Cole, yes. Coleman?
Yes.
Coleman, yes. Corman?
Corman, yes. Going with the committee.
Corman, yes. Kucha?
Come back to Kucha. She has a cold, so I'd be surprised if she says things very loudly.
Got it. Curtis?
Curtis, yes.
Curtis, yes. I believe Airman is here.
Abstains.
Abstain. Flores?
Flores, yes.
Flores, yes. Flynn, yes. Forsberg?
Forsberg's going to vote with committee. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Frank Kerr is out. Friedman? Froman?
Yes.
Oh wait,
Froman,
Friedman,
yes.
yes.
Yes. Roman, yes.
Friedman, yes. Froman, yes. Galloway?
Galloway, yes.
Galloway, yes. Goldstein?
Yes.
Goldstein, yes. Gupta?
Gupta, yes.
Gupta, yes. James?
James, yes.
James, yes. Joyce?
Joyce, yes, with the committee.
Joyce, yes. Kay?
Hey, yes.
Kay, yes. Cannell?
Nell, yes.
Yes. Kettering?
Kettering, yes.
Kettering, yes. Copel?
Copel, yes.
Thank you. Copel, yes. Lamoury?
Lamoury, yes.
Lamoury, yes. Lerner? Lewinson? Lynn?
Yes.
Lynn, yes. Mahoney?
Mahoney abstain.
Abstain. McHugh?
Yes.
Q, yes. Meltzer?
Meltzer thanks the committee and the working group for their work and enthusiastically votes yes.
Yes. Moore?
Moore, yes.
Thank you. Schneck?
Schneck, yes.
Yes, thank you. Star? Star? Jimmy Sung?
Sorry, Star.
Oh.
Star, yes.
Star, yes. Jimmy Sung?
Jimmy Sung, yes.
All right. Vera Sung?
Vera, yes.
Yes. Townley?
Townley, yes.
Townley, yes. And you?
You is no.
No? All right.
Ehrman changes his vote to yes.
All right, one sec. Zelter?
Zelter, yes.
Yes. And Airman changes to yes.
Kucha is now excused.
And Kucha is
Excused.
not here. All right, let me see. I think Lerner and Lewinson are not here. Myhawk? Gone?
Gone. I didn't see him.
All right. All right, so
Motion carries.
motion carries 34-4.
I want to thank everybody on the committee and all the board members. This was a tough one. And you know, my philosophy is that if we defeat something, we have a harder time with the SLA. They're more likely to listen to us when it's done in the thoughtful manner we try to do it in. So thank you, everybody. Happy Turkey Day. Enjoy your families.
Exactly. Thank you, Susan, very, very much. And thank you, everybody. Really looking forward to seeing businesses come back a bit. Okay, waterfront parks. Mr. Goldstein, take us down.
Okay, really, I'm reporting mainly on one item. Why don't we show a few of the slides? We got a presentation, very comprehensive and thorough, from Jonathan Bulware, President, CEO of South Street Seaport Museum. And he gave us basically a report on the year 2021. Basically, bottom line is the museum is still recovering from both Sandy and COVID, but he reports that progress is taking place. Thompson Warehouse is still closed, but FEMA paid for repairs should begin soon, and that space is slated to reopen middle of next year. You see some of the ships on some of these slides. He said the fleet of ships are open more and more, and they offer free tours of both the ships and the piers. Why don't you advance the slides? They also reported on, keep going. Keep going. Okay, they also reported on some of these artifacts for the museum. He mentioned that there are 28,000 paintings of Dutch New Amsterdam, and he said that since a lot of the exhibit space remains closed, what they've been doing is putting them online for people to see, and they are trying to open some of that space. He did mention that their staff is about half the level it was in 2020. You could advance the slides again. They're resuming activities, keep going, including they had this opera at the seaport that apparently was well received. And the next slide shows City of Water Day, another event that they sponsored. So they're doing these types of things. So they're working on more programming regarding the role of enslaved people, he said, at the seaport. But he emphasized that they want to get it right before they're ready to open that particular exhibit. And then finally, we got a quick update on where we are with the museum and 250 Water. He said very explicitly, again, there will be no approval of the project unless the 50 million promised to the museum is firm and in place. And of that 50 million, 40 million is going to come from the city's EDC, from Howard Hughes' purchase of air rights, and that will be for their endowment fund. And then the remaining 10 million will be for capital improvements, including on Skirmahon Row for infrastructure repairs, climate control repairs, etc. And I think that pretty much covers what his report was. And
Paul, I'm just going to say I like his optimism, but the borough president and the city has already said that the money cannot be earmarked. So we'll see. I hope for him.
Well, he's only talking about, again, the 10 million, I guess, for capital. Who's going to decide how to use it if not the museum? Okay, we'll get to that later. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Betty Kay, transportation.
And happy Thanksgiving all.
I will make this easy and short for everybody. A number of these actually were postponed. A couple of the others, in fact, are going to be continued. So in reality, there's nothing in particular to report this month. You'll hear more about it, the items in the future. So have a great Thanksgiving.
Holy smokes, Betty, you might be my favorite presenter tonight. Thank you. Alice, you're next.
Betty, bravo. I'll try to do as well. So there's a tad ironic that I would be passing a resolution here tonight to protect birds on the eve of Thanksgiving, but that's what we're doing. So I guess let's have Diana Diana, do you want to just brief us on the 250 Water Street? I think Tammy covered things, but are you there to fill in anything else?
Well, there's the work that was originally scheduled this weekend that was postponed to December 4th. Regarding the brownfield cleanup program itself, the cleanup plan has been adopted. We got a notice from DEC, I think the day of our Environmental Protection Committee meeting, which I believe was November 15th. And Laura Dodge is coming to the December Environmental Protection Committee meeting to give an update on the brownfield cleanup program. And there should be more news soon regarding notification and communication and ensuring Laura's involvement. So what happened today and this week doesn't happen in the future. So we were working on all of those things. And if you're interested, stay tuned. Keep an eye out on the environmental agendas.
Thanks, Diana. Okay, so we have the resolution, which I think is up in front of you, and I don't see any controversy here. We're basically calling for the city council to move forward on the legislation that actually Cora spoke of earlier tonight, with hopes that we can curtail what are tremendous deaths of birds with collisions down in Lower Manhattan. So does anyone have a question? If not, maybe I can have someone call to question and
call the question.
Second. Okay. Excellent. Are there, well, I guess this is for Colin to ask, but abstentions, recusals.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh,
I'm trying.
thanks. Sorry, Mimi.
Good job anymore.
Any abstentions? Any oppose? Sorry, let's start with oppose. Anybody oppose birds protection? Abstentions? Recusal? Cool.
All right,
motion
then. Well, I
passes.
guess there's just nothing else to say on that, but happy Thanksgiving. And see y'all next time. Thanks.
I invite everybody to remember to go to Alice's meeting in December, very specifically because the environmental assessment for 5 World Trade will be on the agenda in an EPC. And we will share the link to it prior to, in the next couple of days. It's fascinating reading, but it is definitely impactful.
Could you
Thank
just
you,
say
Al.
the date of that meeting again, please?
December 7th.
Thank you.
Because the public forum on affordable housing is the 9th, and then land use will have the GPP. So like I said, Jill, what you may have missed in the beginning is there's 3 opportunities in December for public engagement.
Nope, I caught that. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, I know Justine has left sick. Kathy Gupta, Battery Park City Committee, all you.
Okay, all reports tonight. The Terrasian Stout Tree, we had a presentation from Jack Klieger, the president and CEO of the Museum of Jewish Heritage, and the principal of 276 was there as well. Basically, they have a sapling that they're cutting down a mature tree in front of the museum and putting in its place a sapling from the tree, the 15-foot silver maple tree that was planted at the camp by children under the direction of an imprisoned teacher. There will be a dedication on December 2nd. And I think the whole thing was very compelling, but there will be an identifying plaque and ongoing programming involving the children from the school and the care of the tree. So it's a link between the museum and the school itself. Local Law 97, which requires buildings to meet new energy efficiency standards. We had a visit from some of the condo boards. Basically, they felt they could use the help of a consultant from the Battery Park City Authority to help them make uniform decisions and decisions that were the most cost efficient and effective. The authority felt that they had been providing that help, and it seems like the disconnect is that they've been working with the building maintenance staff rather than the boards of the buildings. So we sent everybody back to the drawing board to talk to each other and get familiar with what kinds of information is out there and who's doing what. We had a presentation from Brookfield about a proposed public art installation over the December holiday. We did raise some concerns about the 5 days required for installation and removal at either end. And, of course we approved it, but there was ultimately they canceled the project and there was no reason given for why. Creating a resident majority on the Battery Park City Board. We have talked about this several times in the past, but sorry, I'm losing my voice too. The feeling was that with the new governor, the time was ripe to revisit the issue. One of the concerns was that having, a larger number of Battery Park City residents on the board, but also that those residents, whether they be renters or owners, are people who represent affordability and care about it, and who also are going to address livability as well as, in the past, the board has been more oriented toward the real estate development. And now we have to look at what kind of community are we going to be 10 years from now? So we'll continue that as an active dialogue with the authority and state government. Not too much unusual in the security update. Except that there's a big issue with dogs off the leash, on the grass, et cetera, et cetera. And the feeling of the security people was that there are a lot of people who adopted dogs during the pandemic and are sort of having to learn the etiquette of maintaining a dog in our community. And on the BPCA report, the usual kind of activity, except that the resiliency walkthroughs were added on November 13th, and it was well attended. And I don't know, Alice, if you want to contribute anything to that, but
we're hopeful that thanks, Kathy, that Nick Spordoni will come to present in January, he said, to update us all on that project and the South as well.
right. And he made a point that it's absolutely great to like walk it and see it rather than just hearing about it. And I think he's right. And that's it for Battery Park City.
Thank you, Kathy, very much. And I do believe follow-up for the legislation for resident majority as a resolution that's coming in December, if I remember correctly. But that's, take a look at the agendas. Before we move to Youth and Ed, I understand that our Manhattan Borough President has been able to join us tonight. So Tricia, I'm going to ask you to hold for just a minute. We'll let Gail come in and then give her report, and then we move to you. All righty? Sorry, Tricia.
It's okay.
Gail,
Okay,
welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope you can see me. I think you can. Yep. Just give me a second here. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, Gail.
A couple of things. First of all, I think you know this is not directly you, but it's nearby. The fact that the governor announced the $20 million in funding for Chinatown's recovery as part of the Downtown Revitalization Initiative program. And what that means is, we did it. We found a wonderful woman to be, Wei Lam, to be the consultant in terms of writing the grant. Vanessa Diaz-Lopez in our office was the shepherd, and many, many groups in Chinatown who don't all work together supported it, and we really met every day. And the money is now $20 million for projects that include mostly economic development and cultural. The long story short is that the state now is in the process of hiring through a facilitator people to facilitate 18 months of planning. And I'm sure Board 1 wanted to participate. It would be welcome. Board 3 is welcome too. So it's a big deal for a community that's been hurt so bad by the pandemic and all the other aspects, including the hate, unfortunately, number one. Number two, Trinity Church, well, maybe somebody's brought this up and I apologize, but to their credit, they have a team that is going to give out a great deal of money south of 14th Street. So obviously those are several community boards, several education communities, and I assume you're on top of it. It is, I've never quite seen anything like it. They're doing it in the way that I prefer, and I'm sure Tammy prefers, and all of the Board 1 prefers. They're doing it in a very strategic, metric, analysis way. So everything is going to be, how do we eliminate poverty below 14th Street? No kidding. So they've been having listening sessions that I participated in with all the schools that need the help the most, etc. There may be aspects that you could look at. I would find every single possible opportunity to work with them, and they're a pleasure. So I assume you know about it, but I just want to double check. I'm always about, communities that need funding. Absolutely, this is your chance. I think we're all focused on the OIPOID money that the mayor is going to have, 276. That'll be for the next mayor, $1 million. It came to New York as a result of the Sackler settlement and the wonderful work of the Attorney General, Tish James. I just want to make sure it gets settled in communities that need it. And I know that you'll find perhaps through some of the programs that you're working with that it could be used. Everybody's concerned about congestion pricing. I know I heard from Board 3 that they feel that their area could be impacted according to studies more than anywhere else. I think you know that we've been pushing Christine Berthet, who is a member of Board 4, who knows transportation planning. There are only 6 people the governor is going to be appointing. So definitely Manhattan deserves at least 1 seat. I know Board 3 would like to have somebody on it also on the Traffic Mobility Review Board, but boys are going to be important. I think you know that January 15th is not only a day to deal with the affordable housing and the funding, and I can't even imagine. I hope that deadline gets extended, but it may not be for open meetings. I don't know. You know better than I, perhaps at this point, but we have the owls. I think you already have yours, but I just want to let you know we're all focused on what does it look like for a meeting after January 15th. I also want to mention that we continue to work on the helicopters. I think that, you know, the 35-person letter that's got New Jersey and New York, it helps a little bit, but what we really need is a federal law that is pending that says no helicopters over any city of 8 million or more. That's only us, but we haven't got it yet. So we're in the interim, we're pushing hard to try to do something about New Jersey. One other topic that may not exist in Board 1, but boy, is it a disruptor. So, and you know, I know I'm a techie, but I believe in disruptor when it is good for people, but this is not, I think. So these dark stores, they're called fulfillment centers. They're popping up everywhere. And basically they are, you can't go in it. I can't go in the stores. They say, okay, you can get your food in 15 minutes. And if you look around, I will promise you that all through Board 1, you're going to see these guys. I just saw 10 of them today, just in my travels from one turkey giveaway to another. It says on the back, I'll get you your food in 15 minutes. Now, there are several challenges with this. First of all, just from a person who is a pedestrian's perspective, who in the world needs people going even faster on bicycles? Who needs that? Second, who needs, and I probably used a bad word in the New York Times, an apple in 15 minutes, for goodness sakes. I do think that they are run by big hedge funds or VCs. They're not an owner-operated store. And if you look at the list of them, Gorilla being one of them, they are not friendly to the grocery stores, the delis, and the bodegas, all of whom are having a fit about this particular new disruptor. So are they legal? Nobody seems to know. You usually do not, this fulfillment, dark stores are not in the zoning text. So the issue is, how can you have this in a commercial zone, in a retail zone? Nobody seems to know. So we're all over it in terms of the City Planning Commission, Health Department, Buildings Department, and finding out if we can enforce them out. That would be my suggestion, but let's see what happens. I think the open restaurants, which had a lot of input into it. I want to congratulate all the boards, the particular Board 1, because I know you made a lot of comments for Borough Board, and you know there's now an open restaurants task force. So it didn't go through in the way that wasn't correct to go through. I happen to support these restaurants, but I do not think that they should have open season. They need to have some design rules and parameters for seating and so on and so forth. So that's happening as I understand it. And so we're going to have them come to the Borough Board in December to talk about what they're planning. The Tuesday at 3 o'clock continue. Every Tuesday at 3 o'clock, we have a discussion about the vaccines and about money coming to New York City. I would just mention today we were in Harlem, under the 2nd Avenue subway 2B. It's pretty exciting. I mean, it really is a tunnel from all the way up to 120th Street from 96th Street or 95th Street. And it's been built since the 20s, 1920, updated in the 70s, and a little bit more to go. I mean, a lot more to go. If you know, 5 blocks blasting can be a lot. But jobs, and we really have to be ready for them. Not saying that we are, but it is a topic that every single board should participate in, because you all have people who need jobs. Finally, Sunday, December 12th from 2 to 4, we're having a Manhattan holiday party at John Jay College. You'll be getting information. Everybody's welcome. No need to RSVP. You do have to be vaccinated. And thank you very much, Board 1. And I'm sorry to interrupt. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming. As always, I have hands up, and I have a question for you. That task force on open restaurants, can you confirm for us if there are people who understand a mixed use and historic zones that are there?
Yep, I
Because
will find out.
yeah, it's incredibly important for us.
Yep,
Lower Manhattan is very, very different than most other places.
absolutely. Got it.
Alrighty, thank you. And I'm gonna, Vicky has her hand up, and then Bob Townley, and then I'll do a closing thank you. Vicky?
Hi, Gail. Thanks for being
Hi.
here. It's Vicky Cameron. Gail,
Yeah.
I think two months ago I asked you if Community Board 1 members, especially myself, being an architect on your board, would be able to visit Brooklyn Bridge and see the construction, and you didn't see that as an issue at all. Your office reached out to me right after our call here 2 months ago, but ever since then, I haven't been able to get anywhere with Andrew and seeing if we can get DOT to override and let us have a tour of the bridge on good day, good afternoon. I keep saying Friday afternoons. Is that something you can help us out?
Yes,
So
we
we
will
can
absolutely follow up. Yep.
tour
I got it. Thank you.
with MLJ, the contractor, not just around. We know how to walk around. That would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much again.
Absolutely. I've certainly walked around, so I know what you're looking for. I'm peeked in.
You did. I want to peek in myself. Thank you.
I peeked in, but I couldn't get in, so we will follow up. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Vicky. Next hand up is Bob Townley.
Hi, Borough President. I know you're not going anywhere, and either is this problem of bicycles and deliveries going the wrong way on our streets and in our in the gutters. So I think this is an ongoing issue, and it relates to the issue of these stores that you were talking about. And I know on our committee at Hudson River Park, along the bike path there, and on the streets, I'm almost hit daily by bicyclists going the wrong way, motorized heavy bicyclists. And I think, to their credit, Whole Foods licenses their bicycles, and they insure their bicycles. And I think a license, an identifying license, would be, and these companies supported by hedge funds probably can do it. It's not, they probably can do it. They for sure should do it, but it may be a disincentive and may get rid of some of the hazardous transportation on bicycles throughout the city. I have no problem with deliveries being in the city when they're done right, but I think all of us can speak to the fact that we're almost clipped daily by people going the wrong way, and there has to be some solution to it. We've been working on it in Hudson River Park for years, and it's just getting worse. So I know you're not going anywhere, and so I'm just putting that, bee in your bonnet.
No, Bob, it's very helpful. I mean, it's a constant. It's not just you, it's everywhere. But I didn't know about the Whole Foods. Let me check that out and see if that could be replicated. It's a big, I also meet personally with the delivery people. And the good news is they're now organized, and obviously they have issues that they care about. But at the same time, the people who are organizing them know that they have to obey the rules of the road. So let me follow up with you. I thank you for that information about Whole Foods.
Sure.
Thank you, Bob. Pat Moore, you're next.
Good evening, Gail. Thanks for coming. Since Bob brought up the bikes, I just wanted to say one of the major issues also are the bikes riding on the sidewalk. There are, often there are visitors who may not know the rules and regulations, but I don't think New Yorkers know that it's illegal to ride on the sidewalk. And we've had this discussion with DOT, we've had this discussion with other agencies. There doesn't seem to be a city outreach to let people know the rules and regulations. City Bike is saying, oh, well, we have it posted at our kiosk. But people don't read that when they go to buy to rent the bikes. And so we really think the city needs to do something to let the public know all of the rules and regulations of bike riding, and then the police need to enforce them.
Yep, I'm with you. Like I said, it's a mantra, but maybe we need to wait until January, but we're certainly going to focus on it. The reason I brought up these fulfillment centers is, for goodness sakes, if you're supposed to be rushing, can you imagine? It's even going to be worse.
Exactly. There'll be people killed. But thank you.
I'm going to tag on to that is the new pop-up of the micro warehouses in the city.
Yeah.
Guaranteed 15-minute deliveries that the bodega owners are so upset about.
That's what I'm talking about, Tammy. Absolutely. Same thing. Yep.
I mean, Susan, call
Same
your
thing.
next.
Hi, Gail. I just want to reiterate. Hello, kiddo. I just want to reiterate that as an old lady walking on the walking on the street, and it's not just Pat is very kind. It's not just tourists or people on city bike. The delivery guys, I have been clipped twice already, and it's frightening and it's awful. And I sometimes sound like a fascist. It's just terrible. And I don't know what we can do. So we got to really think about it.
I agree. I mean, I do think like I said, there's a wonderful woman who used to work in the DA's office, who's now in charge of organizing all the delivery people. And, like I said, they have their issues, but she also understands the other side of the coin is follow rules of the road, which includes everything you've been stating. So I'm hoping that she's going to help us with this. You have to follow. And then, of course, you have the other leisure or others that have another. They also can be just as bad, to be honest with you. So there's so many different aspects to this, but I am aware of it. I'm trying to figure out what to do.
Thank you. Glad we're going to continue to see you, even though it's not in our community.
Thank you.
I'm just going to warn her she has to come back for December no matter what. Just saying. Okay. Anybody else have any hands up? Anybody else need to ask Gail anything who can't figure out how to put their hand up?
You're funny, Tammy.
Well, it happens. All righty.
Thank you.
With that, Gail, thank you as always. You're definitely an inspiration to many of us, and we hope to see you in December. And I'll just leave it at that.
I'll be there. Thank you so much. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, Gail.
Bye. Take care. Thank you.
All right. Trisha Joyce, you have a hard, big shoes to follow. You've been Ed.
Not competing with Gail. No way, no how. So we had just a couple things really. Safe school bus loading at PS 150. Thanks to Betty, I got a little information, but the DOT we need to have that second meeting that they promised us to discuss all of the things that we knew we would be discussing a year out of this school opening. And we haven't been able to get with them yet, but I'm really hoping that can happen actually before our December meeting, because we really need to be talking about this before it's a fait accompli, which happens to us all too often, like in the gym. So we hope to get more information, but what I have learned is that the school bus stop is going to be in that westbound lane of Edgar Street, right before it hits Trinity Place and takes a left-hand, the traffic takes a left-hand turn. This is a good location. So we are hoping we can get a bus with a left-hand door. As you know, most of them have right-hand doors, but there are some that have a left-hand door, and that way it could open right out onto the newly formed plaza that is being created by the mechanical extension of that sidewalk, the south sidewalk, that will at the corner meet the courtyard for the school that is way too small for the amount of kids that are coming. So that was a good decision. We have so many questions, like in the afternoon, we have the spur will be open. There'll be empty buses coming up. How will that work when the bus stops to let the kids out? Where will the bus idle and wait for the kids to be coming out with their teacher. It's an elementary school. So there isn't really a place there. There's no, Greenwich Street's too narrow. So we're trying to find out if there could be a cutout on the Western Plaza as it hits Greenwich Street. We're finding out whether they can time it so that the bus just shows up, although I have my doubts with New York City traffic. I envision lots of standing children or children not ready when the bus is there. So this will be a big question we have for the DOT. We're hoping to get the SCA and DOE in the room as well, because they really do need to weigh in on this in terms of how the kids are getting off this bus, making their way to the courtyard. What do we do if it rains? They did not build a cover as we had suggested in the courtyard because they have no ground floor gathering space. So hopefully more to come on this, but I wanted to just give the quick update that we got that I passed along to the committee and everyone else. We're happy with that location, and we're just going to the next step. Then we had Mara Fitzgerald come from CB2's youth committee. She has a child at LMC. The problem has been going on there since my child was there 5 years ago, that there's construction, mostly the problems with construction on New Street. For those that know New Street, it's a little street that has those, someone help me out, ATVs, what are those things that go up and down, security? Always forget the name of them. They're the big metal things that come up in the street.
They're the clamshell security gates that go up.
Thank you. So they have those on that street, and then they have random construction projects that happen and some deliveries, but very, very little traffic. And she and CB2 had proposed to us a resolution, or sent to us a resolution proposing to close the street 3 hours a day. When the kids arrive, the kids go out to lunch, and the kids leave the school. We didn't notice that for a nanosecond, we did not have an update ready, and it went onto the agenda as postponed. So I want the people that were there to know that, yes, we did actually discuss and vote on this. And then I need to also tell you it's now been tabled and we have to do it again in December. So it's a good thing, because apparently there were people who wanted to weigh in on it that saw this on the agenda and did not come. So we will just be better prepared for this discussion in December when we do it with those people present. So more to come on that. High school admissions, no great news there. As we suspected, as you know, we had a large percentage of our kids that got 0 of their 12 choices. Some got no choices at all. And of those kids, 50% have either left the city or are going to private school. We have a handful of kids that were assigned to Richard Green High School, which is in that same building as LMC, and they are going there. There's like 5 of them from our 3 schools combined. And 1 got into Quest to Learn on the waiting list. No other waiting list seats were cleared. This is good for us to know going forward. And what we've decided to do, since we've already passed a resolution on this, is to have a community board letter go out, which I'm going to connect with the office about doing, because we now have our experience with this. I did notice, and I told the committee, that the DOE did take some of our advice from our resolution. They are holding high school fairs, information sessions at the schools that they're assigning kids to that they didn't choose, which would be a good idea. And but they haven't really addressed other points in our resolution that we feel are critical. So that will be our next step. And I think that's it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Tricia. From Ethan, Jason Friedman, you are taking us home tonight.
I have my hand up.
Oh no, sorry, Pat, I missed you. Before it's Jason, let's get to Pat. And Bob, your hand's still up.
Yeah, sorry, Tricia, the first item, Edgar Street.
Right.
Just so I am clear, so we are not closing the lane that is going west into the parking lot, correct?
We are closing the lane that is going west into the parking lot. The lane that's staying open is the east lane that is going to
This
Trinity
is a
Street.
conversation that we've had over and over again, and I don't know when that was finalized, but as, you know, a person living in Greenwich South.
Pat, hold on. Trisha, Pat, if I remember correctly, it will still be a two-way street. It will just be much narrower. That's the last thing that we were told.
So the DOT has to answer this question. We have absolutely no preference. The closure of the lane going west, Pat, is forced by the fact that the building mechanicals have to pull out anyway. We had suggested actually that they take the median, which didn't seem to have any purpose to us, and just make a two-lane street without a median, you know, so that they give us enough room with the mechanicals pushing out. They widen the sidewalk to create a plaza large enough to drop children off on. And then
I don't care how they do it, as long as they don't force all the traffic to come down Cedar Street to go west. Because it's the only westbound, my street would be the only westbound street then.
well, I mean, they do have to come to this meeting, and you should be at that meeting to talk about your experience with this, because they just have to figure it out. They can't, you know, this school is going to have 900 children people landing there each morning. And I'm actually grateful for the mechanical extension because it's the only way we probably would have gotten the plaza, but the school couldn't function without a wider, you know, and a very wide sidewalk on the south side, because on the front of the school, they've got 3 subway entrances and a 10-foot sidewalk. I mean, it's
I live there.
not gonna
So
be
listen,
functional.
Trisha, I hate to act like I'm special, because I'm not, but would you please, when they are coming, would you please reach out to me so I can make sure that I attend the meeting?
Absolutely. We will
Great,
make
thank
sure
you.
that everybody knows, really, because there's a lot of stakeholders there. I get it, you know. They have to figure this one out, and it is way past due for this meeting to have happened. So I'm anxious to have it as well.
Bruce, do you still have your hand up? Bruce, you're starting to sound, Bruce, I don't know what's up with your audio, but you sound like a chipmunk.
There's nothing wrong with it. It sounds right.
This is better, or
Yes, that's much better. Thank you.
is this better?
This is good.
Or
Good.
Well, it was better before.
Bruce, do you have a comment?
no?
Okay, good. Okay.
Is this good?
This is great, Bruce. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to say that there are so many huge Department of Transportation issues, including this one may be actually relatively small. We've had so many enormous cross-platform, cross-committee DOT issues. I have found them unresponsive for about 4 years, almost autocratic, and they're making huge changes all the time in our neighborhoods. Can we have some kind of comprehensive, like, cross-committee meeting with DOT that, if they do ever accept, is well publicized? That's my comment.
It's an interesting one, but meetings with DOT tend to be most productive when it's topical. So, you know, we try and take things one subject matter at a time, Bruce. And because they have been given many different things, but yes. All right, Mark, your hand is up, and then Bruce, your hand is down.
So yeah, once again, 2 months in a row, Bruce and I are in agreement. And if we're in agreement, it's probably true. So
that's right.
Take note of it.
That is true.
And on that note, I think Youth and Ed is a wrap. And let us move to Jason. Take us home.
Hello. So, can we just
do the resolutions first. So we have Nolan Park, which was an application. None of these were controversial, and there was very little to any public comment on any of this stuff, frankly. Nolan Park is a master plan for redoing all the windows for these really beautiful historic and original houses, which currently have, divided light windows, rotten wood windows that are, some are original, some are replacement. We felt like that type of batch of original houses deserved a window master plan that only allowed for true divided light windows as replacements for all these windows, rather than aluminum or simulated divided light windows. So we wrote a resolution to try and get the Landmark Commission's attention that we would only accept a master plan for true divided light windows that maintain the character of the original windows that were there. So that was a denial. Then we have seen again the LMCC Art Center proposal for additional signage to a building that is going to be continued to be used year round, and to try and encourage people to find the building at night, and at in these daylight saving times when it's dark early, some illuminated signage that would go on the corner of the building. As you can see in this picture, it's the sign that's a vertical kind of banner type sign at the right side on the corner of the building. It's it's a reversible connection, the whole thing, should it not be a success. And while it's not at all historic or making reference to any sort of signage typology that would have been on the island, we still thought, because of its reversibility and its usefulness as a beacon for the building at nighttime hours, we were able to write a resolution that thought it was approvable, that we thought it was approvable. What's the next project that we had there that was also not controversial? Maybe just
West Broadway and 157 Hudson.
109 West Broadway is a proposal for a door replacement. If you go to the next slide, that picture on the right there is the door that exists. It's not original, nor original is any of this stucco window surround there, this archway. It's not some classical archway that was there in the 19th century or the early 20th century. In fact, what was there was most likely cast iron columns and a lot of glass and maybe a wooden bulkhead. So does the next slide show the proposal? Yeah, so while this door is also, there's nothing about this door, even if you try and find other unique doors in the Tribeca Historic District, there's nothing about this door at all that's historic or references any sort of historic doors. However, when someone's trying to reactivate a space and their proposal is to replace a non-original aluminum storefront bay with something that's new and sound and does not disturb any of the original fabric that may be behind what the non-original storefront that it's replacing, we asked the applicant to come back and make the door white to match the aluminum painted aluminum storefront on the left and right of it. They did that, and thanks for that. And again, just not really controversial. It's not your typical door, but we thought it was okay enough, and we wrote an approvable a resolution recommending approval And then what's the last? Oh, the last one is a non-visible penthouse addition to the original American Express building near near Beach Street. And that proposal was previously approved by the Landmarks Commission, but their permit expired. And so as that happens sometimes, they had to come back to us and represent the project as it was presented and approved back in, I don't even know when, 2015 or so. Seeing that it's not visible at all from any of the streets, we thought that it was also approvable. And so we wrote a resolution recommending the reapproval of that project.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's that.
Alrighty, let's see if we have hands up. I see Patrick and then Bruce, and we'll go from there. Patrick?
A quick, Jason, quick question on Nolan Park. Who's the applicant? Is it the trust?
Yeah, it is a trust.
Okay, so with that as a board member of the Trust for Governor's Island, I will recuse. Thank you.
Is it the trust or is it LMCC?
Projects. I think LMCC is doing the arts building and Trust is doing the refurbishing of Nolan Park, but I could be wrong.
Gotcha. No. I think you're right. Sorry, I got
You are
it.
correct.
All right, thank
So
you.
are they an applicant or a co-applicant? Doesn't matter. I'll recuse.
No, they're the applicant. They're the applicant.
Okay.
Got it. Thanks.
Bruce and then Mark.
I want to add, to be clear, the trust is Nolan Park completely and exclusively, and the Art Center is LMCC exclusively. I just want to, first of all, I have two comments, but first of all, because I wasn't there for that application, 109 West Broadway, that entryway is actually on Reed Street. Is that correct?
Right, it is on Reed Street.
Okay.
That's correct.
Secondly, I am on the board of LMCC, so I am going to recuse myself on that one. But I do want to comment that they have been back and forth on this art center with us for, I would say, a number of years. And I do want to, however you vote, note that they have been more forthcoming to actually come to the community board, even when they no longer had to with LMCC. They have always engaged us first before going to LMCC beyond what is normal. So I just wanted to say that, however you vote for the signage. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. Thank you, Patrick. Anybody else? Hands up. Questions, comments? Okie doke. We do need, because this is the last committee of the night, to do at least one of these as a roll call. Jason, do you want to take them all together?
Them all together.
Okay. Remember, when the roll call comes, if you need to recuse, you need to be very specific. So, for example, using Patrick, who was the first to say something, he will be able to vote, except he must recuse from Nolan Park. He can vote on the Art Center because that is LMCC and not Governor's Island as a co-applicant, whereas Bruce can vote on Nolan Park but cannot vote on the Art Center at Governor's Island because that is LMCC. All right, I hope that was clear for everybody. And you will say I recuse on and put whichever one you are on. And Mimi, take it away. Uh-oh, did we lose Mimi?
No, wait, did you lose me?
No, you're there.
Okay.
Okay, good. All right.
We did not lose you.
Amaruso.
Abstain on all.
All right. Oh. Blank.
Recuse on Nolan Park, yes on everything else.
All right. Brown Kennedy.
Brown Kennedy, yes.
Yes. Cameron.
Cameron, yes.
Cassell,
Cassell, yes.
thank you. Colley, Chang,
Chang, yes.
yes. Chapman,
Chapman, yes.
Charkoudian,
Charkoudian, yes.
thank you. Cole,
Cole, yes.
Cole, yes. Coleman,
Coleman, yes.
Coleman, yes. Corman,
Corman, yes.
Corman, yes. Curtis,
Curtis, yes.
Curtis, yes. Airman,
Sorry. Airman, yes on all except recusing on Art Center.
all right, recusing Art Center. Flores,
Flores, yes.
yes. Flynn, yes. Forsberg,
Forsberg, yes.
yes. Friedman,
Friedman, yes.
Friedman, yes. Froman,
Yes, Froman, yes, thank you.
Froman, yes. Galloway,
Galloway, yes.
Galloway, yes. Goldstein,
Goldstein, yes.
Goldstein, yes. Gupta,
Gupta, yes.
Gupta, yes. James, James,
Sorry, James, yes. I couldn't unmute. I apologize.
it's okay. James, yes. Kay,
Hey, yes.
Kay, yes. Cannell,
Now, yes, except recuse on Nolan Park.
I just want to say you missed Joyce, and Joyce is a yes.
oh, you're here.
I'm here.
Yeah. Joyce is a yes.
Amy, she's been here since 77 Warren, and she audio voted then.
Yeah, no, we have
Yeah.
it, Tammy. Just the we had her line shaded just for those votes.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right. Sorry about that, Joyce. Kettering,
Kettering, yes.
Kettering, yes. Capel, Capel. All right. Lamory,
Lamory, yes.
Lamory, yes. Lerner, wait, Lerner's not here. Lynn,
Yes.
yes for Lynn. Mahoney,
Mahoney, yes.
Mahoney, yes. McHugh,
McHugh, yes.
McHugh, yes. Meltzer,
Meltzer votes yes. With her
Meltzer, yes. Moore,
Moore, yes.
Moore, yes. Schneck,
Schneck, yes.
Schneck, yes. Star,
Star, yes.
Star, yes. Jimmy Sung,
Jimmy Song, yes.
Jimmy Sung, yes. Vera Sung,
Vera, yes.
Vera, yes. Townley,
You missed
Townley, yes.
Townley, yes.
You got to come back for Copel.
Okay. You,
You was yes.
yes. Zeltzer,
Zelters, yes.
yes. All right. And then Capel, Capel,
yes.
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 All right. And Colley, Colley there. It's not Colley.
No, I think she's gone.
All right, Colley's gone. All right, thank you.
All right. That is awesome. Jason, do you need to report on Fearless Girl? Anything?
Oh, I don't think necessarily we do. We just continue to maintain our position that they should follow the going through the Public Design Commission, and you know, we're not monitoring it actively, I would say.
The office is following up, but we have not heard anything afterwards. That's true. All righty. Well, with that, I think this is a virtual record. Thank you, everybody. I have no old business, no new business. I move to adjourn at 8:50.
Okay, good night.
Oh my God, I can't.
Happy
believe-
Thanksgiving, everybody. Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Gobble, gobble,
Bye.
y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.